this quest on Highway 29. I just stopped at the Shell station. They have good snacks there and a whole hot deli and everything. We're gonna head northeast on Highway 29 up towards the town of Lower Lake. When we get to Lower Lake, we're gonna take a right and head out through Morgan Valley out into the Knoxville wildlands and take a little hike. It's a huge public lands area managed by the Bureau of Land Management. You can camp out there with permits and hike. You can see just in the cross sections of the land and the soil, there's many different colors and elements already showing up. There could be anything out here. We are 5 miles out Morgan Valley Road now from the town of Lower Lake. That's that way down the road and out over those hills. So that would be Clear Lake, and then out to the coast, the 101 corridor over those hills. And looking down south, and look out all over all the valleys. And this is the pullout at the 5 mile mark on my odometer. Look how far across the landscape you can see. I believe those are the vineyards of Gwinnett. That peak there is Snow Valley Peak. And my home is way out yonder there. I just recognize the shape of the peaks. And so Hidden Valley and Lower Lake is out here, like I said. And then Hidden Valley and then Middletown is most of the way to the base of Mount St. Helena there, where I took you the other day. And if you were watching that, we parked on the saddle that's out of sight here and hiked that way along a mountain range that you can't see. It's just the tip of our huge mountain sticking up there. That's where we are. You can see down here the new growth. It's really bright green this time of year and was reduced to the ground. But they regrow out of their roots, all of the manzanitas and buckbrushes and ceanothus and everything. You can see the taller trees here. Those are digger pines and bays and oaks that died, and they have yet to fall down and become new soil. But it's important that they get chipped back into the earth if somebody's going to do that, or get to rot back into it. But you can see the look of the terrain out here. It gets really steep, and this is the type of stuff we're headed into. And there's this fire road access. We're not there yet, so I'll let you know. Look at the creeks down here. Wouldn't you love to go wander amongst those boulders? Okay. Beautiful landscape though. The clouds today. We're in between storms here. And you can see the surroundings. pretty quiet. And it gets really hot out here soon, so great time to come check this out. Let's get underway. About 11 miles outside of town, you reach this first entry point, and there's more. This is one of the smoother, and this is one of the main easy access points into the whole place, and you can see the road. You can get up here in two-wheel drive. I'm just in my Ford Ranger. And a little bumpy, but not bad. And from here, this gets you to trailheads and all sorts of different spots. We used to come up here. This is close enough to my hometown to where we'd be able to drive up here in 40 minutes. And everybody came out here to get into the outdoors and get wild with it. This is where you've always been able to come up and camp and hunt and do all kinds of cool things. And there's a look back at our route in. And if you kept going on that road, it would lead you all the way down to the top end of Lake Berryessa, and then out that way you can branch down into the Central Valley or back into the Napa Valley. And you could do this in a little Toyota or Honda. You just gotta go slow, but there's nothing that's gonna hurt you clearance wise. And the vegetation out here used to be a little more beautiful. It was all taller, of course. And then we have natural cedars, and they're not your super tall cedars. They're more akin to something that you'd see growing in the high Sierra. And they were all twisty, and they made these awesome deep forests. And all of these were reduced to the ground and then grow out of their roots well in literally a 2 or 3 year period. They're up to this. Oh, 20 minutes to get here. That's some lollygagging, and about between 11 and 15 miles outside of Lower Lake on my odometer. I set the tripometer on there. And the view from up here is instantly stunning. Look at that. See a Mount St. Helena. And we parked there the other day and hiked south. We're looking basically westwards out towards the ocean. You'd go over those hills and be in the Sonoma Valley, and then Petaluma Santa Rosa Valley, the Valley of the Moon, and then almost to the ocean. And you can look down that range. And this is a really clear and beautiful day. Okay, and here we've gotten up into the cedar land, so I want you to use your imagination. See these? These are actually cedars. See the little cedar balls on them? And that's about how tall they were, you know, with some more branches. But really deep out here and in all directions. And it made a little forest that was really, really awesome and just beautiful at the top of the hills, you know? Oh, here's a couple that are left alive. Do you see them? I know they look like the other scrub brush, and all scrub brush is beautiful to me, but See how those look? They gave it a coastal look even though we're so far inland and it's so hot. Here's another couple more. And so there's an area over by Lake Berryessa south of here that's called the Cedar Roughs. And people always wonder why it's called the Cedar Roughs. And you can see this is probably what would have been up there. There's a taller one there. And there's even a tall, pointy, single trunk cedar that people don't realize is a cedar that grows in the creeks around here. This one's entirely different. Here's one on this side. And if you know trees, and you know evergreens, the ones that grow up this high where snow sits on the ground and it bakes and the ground and the earth itself is minimal soil that continuously washes off and it's just down to bare rock. These things can be small, but they can be old. The oldest trees that we have here in North America, despite people looking at the redwoods and sequoias, are actually trees that are even smaller than this that grow out of the granite right at tree line on the top of our mountains. And these are actually baby cedars. We'll get out and look at some. But it's good to see. Yeah. The last time I was here, none of them had recovered at all. And you can see they're basically, besides the occasional rare digger pine, that's the tall canopy. And we are here in a beautiful time of the year because this is, these leaves are as fat as they're going to be. They just got rain yesterday. Everything here shrivels. This is its time of flowering and fruit, and it will soon turn into a high arid, almost desert area. When people ask what gardening zone it is, I say Afghan, and I'm not joking. This is like Afghanistan almost. Wow, look at the cedars. I imagine an arborist, a botanist that knows more about California can affirm that those are darn rare. They're growing out of the serpentine belt, which itself is rare, even though it seems abundant. It's only abundant where it is. Off down the road, you can see maybe that's why those trucks are parked down there, is because when it rained yesterday, it got a little hairy scary. That looks like people traveling up and down it while it was soggy have torn it up. So they'll come out here with bulldozers. Worst case scenario, we can park and walk around a bit because we're basically out. I wanted to show you how quick you can get out into the Knoxville public lands if you're visiting the state or you live in the state. Now those areas down there are already private. My home is down there. I can actually see the little divot where I live. And right about the base of these hills that we're in, where it turns into this country, is the public lands. Let me walk around a little bit. We'll decide what we're going to do here. I'll tell you what, it's a little bit gooier than it looks like. And we have water on us. And I'm not committed to digging out here. Wow, look, as I walk around, the water has come down the slope here and washed all the leftovers from the fire down. And it's made little, see where the water went through here? It washed everything downhill. Here there was a log where the people cleaning up afterwards chipped it or cut it or whatever. See its cut ends? It got dropped there and it caught this that was sliding down, so you can see how much soil moves downhill and is lost. And in other areas it's just down to almost bare rock. Here's some of those woolly sunflowers. And yeah, these are all cedars. Well, maybe some manzanita, I can't tell, but these were cedars because you can see the balls on them. So from here, you can take this, it just goes right down here. I can actually see the lower parking lot, and that heads out the trailheads. This goes out here, and you can see the Jeep roads out here. So if you have four-wheel drive, you used to be able to drive on all these. I'm not sure anymore. Probably still can, but you needed some serious four-wheel drive for a lot of these, and it needs to be small and skinny. And literally we can come out here in a few weeks and it'll be all graded out. So, and seeing as how we're less than probably 3,000 feet from the parking lot, I think we will just pull safely over to this side where we won't hog up any space, and then start from there. We'll just take a little wander around here. This goes out into so many canyons and creeks and stuff, but just want to take a close look around, see what we see. So we're just pulled over to the side, left plenty of passage room, and got my East Wing rock hammer, a little collecting pouch. So we are in a serpentine belt, meaning that this entire mountain range that you're looking at, the vegetation that comes with it is about 90% serpentine. That's what these rocks are. And they look red on the outside, but here's one that's broken, probably from fire, fractured it and blew it apart. And that's one of the many colors that it is inside, all the different variations of green. It comes in all different strengths of hardness. That's what one of my viewers has keyed me in on, and I found that too. And it is all the same material, but you get different versions of it. And pretty soft stuff, relatively soft stuff. Here it is red, and I'm going to bust one of these off for the sake of showing you what I was talking about. That is, it's like Australia, Mars, anywhere, that's the iron in Earth, which is our like predominant element, which is in almost everything, rusting on the outside of this. And if you bust them open, like this one here, you see it's red. You see it's actually green underneath. And when these get toppled out, you'll see that that's the green exposed. It's also where some of the higher silicate levels are, and it's often the last area that's actually going to rust over. That's more for what the stone gets its name, is that scaly, shiny look it has a tendency to get. Looks like they're having beetle issues also, but the fire passed right through here, so this probably got scorched and it's been washed clean, and one part of this is still passing sap, but I do see holes and sap coming out. And I tell you what, cedar sap in a high area like this, that is close to frankincense and myrrh, and just as precious in my opinion. You can hear the mockingbird off in the distance. They're one of those birds that will gather different sounds from their environment and keep building on their different vocabulary. So each bird has a different collection of sounds that it has learned how to make. The other thing I like about birds is that you can kind of listen to the animals around you and they let you know if you're okay by being too quiet or screaming out a bunch of alerts to each other. Okay, we are dropping down into this canyon here in hopes of working through the different layers in the soil, because in this you'll hit all sorts of rhyolite layers and everything else, and gold and crystals mixed in somehow with it all. Here's some shinier serpentine so you can see where it gets its name. And I think that that is basically just not rusted because of that virtue in the stone. These areas don't seem to rust up as easy as the smooth, just rougher, non-green stuff. That's what the ground is made out of. Oh, here's the lower road. So. Every little spot in the world should be teeming with tadpoles. Amphibians are the first thing that are wiped out by any sort of herbicides and pesticides. Anything like Roundup, and it disperses so fine in the water that they are killed even when it's in doses that wouldn't hurt other things. And so many ditches and creeks are sprayed in the world that they're falling prey to that. It's the most common thing that's wiping them out. And what you'll see in here is there's no mosquitoes. So if these weren't in here, there'd be 1,000 little mosquitoes. But what there is enough of these to keep them in check. So it's another one of those where we need to be building the environment up and the numbers of wild creatures back up. And the next thing is these get wiped out, and then we have to come in and put down mosquito spray, which wipes out all the predatory insects, and it just goes and goes and goes. And things like mosquitoes you might never get rid of, and you wouldn't want to, because remember, what are they? They're a food source for bats, swallows, all sorts of birds, all sorts of amphibians, all sorts of things in the water, baby fish. So you don't want to get rid of stuff. You want to keep its food chain and its circle of life so strong that everything is in balance. That is the answer. Remember, there's all sorts of good insects in the water too. This guy swims upside down. He's an under the surface skeeter. One here. And in the bottom of this is probably dragonfly and damselfly larvae, which are hunting anything that moves. Okay, let's move on. Just thought that was an important detail. This is a little spring leaching out of the hillside here from above. So enough underground water has gathered together in little channels to spill out here. enjoying this, don't forget that on the Quest for Details homepage, if you click on the videos, then it will take you to all of the videos that I've posted in the past. They're all still there saved, and there's quite a few of them, and they grow every day. So I've dropped into this little gully in hopes of spotting any other minerals or changes in the layers. I'm going to tell you what, this is almost an easier area to do it in because well, I didn't mean walking. It's not easy to walk in. It's all cobble. Okay. Well, while we're sitting down, just fell on my butt. Look. Here's a gob of quartz has worked itself into all this. So this is old enough volcanic activity for the minerals to have leached into it and found their pockets and done their activities. So it's just up to us. There's more quartz. We're 1 mile away from California's largest gold mine recovery ever. It was the Homestake mine, and you can look that up online if you don't believe me. And they moved mountains as big as the one that we're on out here. They moved whole mountains like this and restacked it. But maybe we'll gather some of the little pebbles of quartz. It's not that common. And I guess you gotta kind of fall down and look at the soil real close. I don't even see any more. Oh, maybe here. It's pretty steep downhill here. Okay, let's get to it. Yeah, this is the next thing that we're falling down. You can see we're getting a little bit of orange rock in here. Another intrusion of it there. And the rest of this is just the pure serpentine. And it's crumbly as heck. Real irony looking rocks in here. Oh, this one's smooth. What are you? There's another smooth one. Huh. Out of all this area. Let's whack 'em. Close your eyes. Oh wait, you don't have to, but I'm going to. Set up a whacking station here. Got a little mining spot. Let me dip this in a little puddle. Okay, so a very red. You know what it is? It's sharp. So now we've identified one of the sharp stones in the area. So if you were a native and you didn't want to travel far, or you exhausted your tools all the time like we do, or lost them, used them up and broke them, then you would use every sharp stone around you too. So we've identified one of the things to look for artifacts. Not that we want to remove them from the public lands, but to keep our eyes open. Here's the other part of it. You can see it breaks sharp, so let's do this one. Close your eyes. Yeah. That's what it looked like inside. It's a good time of year to do this because we don't want to be out here when it's super high fire danger. whacking on quartz rocks with our soft iron tools. Okay, let's leave our little anvil there. I don't see anything else to smash. And we've told all of the tigers and stuff in the bushes that we have a smasher. So let's climb down this. Also, doing this while I still have some tissue left in the old knees. Some. Oh, here's something sharp. No, it's a serpentine, and this is the green. See the shiny of it, but it's rusted. So, you'll probably say even older, because rust gets to us all who stick around long enough. And that can be the brave and scary part. Oh, I like this, the clouds going over the sun. Yeah, the fire definitely raged through here. Uh-oh. Wow. Crumble, crumble. That's making a lot of this rock even more unstable. That it was. Well, here is an old diggings for sure. You see that's a smooth slope. Huh. You never know how old that was. This is on a creek. The reason I hike down here is because of the knob that you can see sticking out above it. It doesn't have any plants on it. And it's that orange stone. Just look here. Always look right in the tailings and make sure you don't see any crystals or obvious stuff. This looks like a prospecting hole, but I tell you what, if you were digging and you didn't get anything in the first couple of pounds, what'd you do? You know, that much digging? I don't know. Maybe if you found color. So who knows? This could be you know, we're down to rock right here, so their tailings is long washed away. So this is the change in color. Or there could be something really creepy buried there. But look above it. This is what made me climb all the way down here. And it sticks out really obviously from a quarter mile away. And then the side of it is that. And I see blue clay. I know it's the serpentine that's eroded, but it's softer than that right there. Okay. Hope you're enjoying this. This could be a longer wander, but it was just what I was in the mood for. There's that same spring. We must be farther down. Couple of things here as we hit this little ledge. You can see this is a bedding down spot for something. See the height of the natural grass here. And you see how the green is sticking up, and this is down to the ground. And rise you up. You see it? There's what it would look like out here. And that's all super matted down, so something lays here and sleeps. And then this stripe that you see behind it, believe it or not, that is made by little animals, little mice and stuff traveling back and forth. And it winds all through the grass. And between their traveling and just clearing stuff out as they go, I believe they even add to it like they do inside their tunnels. Let me put you down. There's the way through the winding forest. And that's just smoothed down, so those are little rodent roads ducking off through the veg. Thought that was kind of cool.